Hey guys, welcome to Two Guys and a Mouse, the show that gives you all the Disney news, tips, and tricks to get you the most out of your Disney vacation. I'm Les, and we're here with Lance, and today we're going to talk about Disney pin trading. What is it, how to get started, along with some beginner tips, all of that is coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Disney pin trading. And so what is it? It's a fun, interactive experience where guests can trade their pins with other guests, cast members directly or via pin trading boards and mystery boxes. Pins can also be purchased brand new at various stores. And if you have unwanted pins that you get or you get duplicates, then those can be traded with others. Before we get too deep into the video, I'd like to take a moment and welcome any new viewers, and if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so that you know whenever we release new content. Also, if you like the video, please consider liking and sharing the video with your family and friends. It'll really help out the channel. So Lance, how did it get started?
So pin trading got started right around the turn of the century. It sounds really funny saying that, but pins have been sold for a long time at Walt Disney World, and it was really right about the 1999-2000 mark, right during the Millennial Celebration, where pin trading really took off at Walt Disney World. How can someone get started with pin trading? Well, Disney does sell these beginner pin trading kits. It usually comes with a lanyard, it comes with a set of pins, and sometimes it'll have like a commemorative medallion that comes with the set. You can also buy individual pins. You'll get some pins sometimes for special occasions that they give out. Sometimes if you stay at a Disney resort that's under construction or renovation, you'll get a card with sorry, we're under construction, and they'll give you some pins to as kind of like a thank you for putting up with the mess. So the goal of pin traders is to complete a particular set of pins, that are out there. So where can you buy pins? Well, you can buy pins on Walt Disney World property, at the parks, in the resorts, at Disney Springs. There's a number of websites also that you can order pins from. There's a couple of other retailers that you can look at. So the Disney stores inside Targets now, again, anywhere on property down at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. There's a store called Box Lunch that you can buy pins from. That's a trustworthy and official place to buy Disney merchandise. And you can also get them from a D23 membership. If you're not familiar with it, link in the description below. And when you purchase a membership, they'll send you a box. Is it a box of pins? And with your starter kit, right? You'll get some pins. You'll get a lanyard, right?
Yeah, you will get a welcome kit for being a member. It'll have a lunchbox, a pin set, a certificate, along with some other items.
Gotcha. So you can get started in pin trading by buying a D23 membership, or you can just get started by buying a lanyard, buying a pin, and just going crazy. So I'm going to turn it over to Les, and he's going to give us some beginner tips on how to get started with pin trading and what to do once you've started.
All right, so like Lance said, we're going to go through some beginner tips. So if you're just beginning, if you're truly just beginning, you're watching this and you're like, you know what, I would love to do that, or I think it's something my kids would love to do, and you're just really starting out, I would say start small. Just start small, start cheap. It's a very expensive hobby if you want it to be. I mean, there are some really, really cool pins, and they're not cheap. Or if you determine that you want to go after some the stuff that's not readily available, like really hard to find limited edition or older pins, you can really end up paying a lot of money for them. So I would say, leading into that, determine who or what it is that you want to collect. Are you after certain themes? Like, are you after stuff that's related to the parks themselves, or even the resorts have their own pins, like the poly? Like, I buy poly pins all the time because I'm DVC. And or there's certain characters, like, are you or your child a huge fan of, which character? Who do you like? You like Chip and Dale? You like Minnie or Mickey? Goofy, Pooh Bear, Eeyore. It's any one of the characters. Do you want to pick one of those and just kind of stick with all the pins on that particular character? Or do you want to go for really hard stuff? Do you want to go for like cast member exclusive pins? Those are hard to come by, but once in a while you will find a cast member who has like an employee pin or something like that. Something only they can get, but they're willing to trade. So you can find really, really hard stuff, or even older sets that they don't have the pins for anymore.
Are
Those
cast
can be
members
hard to
allowed to
find.
trade their cast member pins?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen people talking about them and people trying to get them. Whether cast members are actually willing to do that, I'm not sure. I would say yes, probably. To some degree. Are the
only
masses
reason I ask is I know that
doing
sometimes
it? I would say probably not.
Yeah, I know sometimes Disney gets really funny about what their cast members can and can't do, so that's why I was just like, oh, they're allowed to do that? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably told not to, but that doesn't mean that people won't do it, right? So
That's true. Yeah.
So just the point is, pick something that you're really into instead of just going after like 20 different sets. That would be very expensive and add up very quickly. So So next we're going to move on to where am I trading, right? I want to get into this, but where exactly am I going? Well, obviously the best place to do this is on the Walt Disney World properties, in the parks, in the resorts. The parks is probably going to be the go-to place because not only are you going to see other Disney fans displaying their pins or have pin bags, or some of them have the lanyards like Lance said earlier, but that's where you're going to find the opportunity to trade with not only the cast members who will display their pins if they're willing to trade, but you'll find the pin boards like Lance alluded to earlier, or mystery boxes. So let's just talk about that really quick. So the pin board is nothing more than a cork board. Sometimes they're square or rectangular, sometimes they're in the shape of Mickey's head. They come in many different shapes and sizes, but it's essentially a cork board. It'll be manned by one or two cast members, and you can simply get in line, go up. You can trade up to 2 pins at a time with the pin trading board, and then you pick the ones that you want, and you take 2 pins that you don't want, or 1 pin, whatever your choice is, and you hand them to the cast member, and then they'll sanitize them because of the state that we live in today with COVID still. But they'll sanitize them, and then they'll put them on the board later on. Mystery boxes are something new. I actually saw these on my last few trips at the end of 2021. It's essentially a square. It's got, I don't know how many different drawers in it essentially, but you don't know what you're getting. So you just tell the cast member that's manning that station, hey, I want what's in drawer number 3. So they're going to open the drawer, they're going to pull up the pin, they're going to hand it to you, and then you have to give them one of your pins back. So that one's a little different. Feedback that I've seen online from pin traders is like they're not too crazy about it because you really don't know what you're getting. But it's honestly not much different than buying the mystery set boxes in the retail stores that contain like 3 or 4 pins. You really don't know. You know you're getting a pin in that set, but you don't know which pins you're getting, which is how you end up getting a lot of duplicates. So online, there are different pin trading sites online. If you're going to trade online, just find reputable sites. You don't want to get scammed, and you also don't want to be trading for pins that aren't official Disney pins. There's a lot of counterfeits out there too. So besides that, online, there's a lot of Disney themed fan sites and forums like the Diz. And if you go onto the Diz's forum, there's an actual separate area for pin trading, and people will go on there and say, hey, I'm looking for this pin, or maybe they're looking to get rid of some pins and they're like, hey, I have these pins to trade, I'll give away these pins, what do you have? So there's different ways to do it, but usually in person is the most popular way to trade the pins. Discounts. So if you're a DVC or annual pass holder, can you use your discount when you're buying from the official stores on property or on Shop Disney? And the answer is maybe. So typically, I've always had success with using the DVC and always the annual pass holder discount. But on a recent trip where Lance and I went down to Disney over New Year's, there was a particular pin that I was interested in, and I did buy it. But when I showed the cast member as I was checking out my card, she said, "I'm sorry, but there is no discount on this particular pin." She couldn't explain why, other than she just knew that she couldn't grant the discount on that pin. It was, for whatever reason, it was a special edition or a commemorative edition, and that particular pin, out of all the ones that I wanted, I couldn't get the discount on. So just, again, buyer beware, beginner tip. Most of the time you can get the discount, but there may be pins where they don't give it to you. So, all right, so last, I have just a bunch of miscellaneous beginner tips, but all very important, so that's why we wanted to bring it to you today. And if you're trying to complete the mystery sets, so what I'm saying is, if there's a particular set, and you'll see them in all the stores, they're very small cardboard boxes, and when you open them up, there's typically I want to say 3 pins, maybe more depending on the set, but they're for a very particular set, and that whole set may only have 10, 12, 15 different pins in the whole set. So you're buying these boxes to try and get the whole set. Well, you end up getting a lot of duplicates, but why I'm bringing it up is, if you're on vacation now, so let's say you're at the parks right now and you're buying these sets, and now you're not going to be back at Disney for 6 months, 12 months again on your next vacation, the chance of those boxes being available in 6 to 12 months is probably slim to none. The pin sets have a limited lifetime and a limited run, and when that time is up, they get pulled off the shelves, and you can't buy them in the stores anymore. So you have to be very careful about, when you're going to go after a particular set, what is the availability of that pin if you don't get to complete the set while you're on property? How are you going to get the rest of them? So just something to think about. Special event, celebration, or anniversary themed pins are usually limited. It'll say it right on the packaging. They usually cost more. I bought some pins back on my October trip that I paid in the $20 to $30 range. Typically, the individual pins that a lot of guests will go after, they're usually 10, 12, 13, 15 bucks a pin. But the nicer ones are the ones that revolve around special sets and are limited, are usually 25 to 30. When Lance and I were at Walt Disney World over New Year's, I actually bought a 75th anniversary Alice in Wonderland pin, and it was ginormous. It was a really big pin, and it was really expensive. It cost $75.
Oh my gosh!
For this,
are you serious?
Yeah. But I really like Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter. I'm all about the Mad Hatter. So I saw this limited edition when we were at the Pin Trader store in Disney Springs, and it was around $75, and I bought it. So just to give everybody an idea that, again, I mentioned it was really expensive. It can be an expensive hobby, but you can try and do it on the cheap the best that you can. Here's another beginner tip. If you are at the parks and you want to trade, you see a pin that you want really, really bad that somebody has, like a cast member has on their not lapel, but they have these very small felt things that they wear on their belts, and that's where they'll display their pins if they're willing to trade. Or if you see a pin on a pin board and you really want it, a trick that you can do, and I've done it in the past as well as my daughter, is go into one of the stores selling the pins, look for the cheapest set that you can get. So there'll be beginner sets that had the one that I was buying a lot of was a beach set. It had all the popular characters on it. There was about 7 or 9 pins, and they were all on a cardboard board, and I think I paid $25 for those pins. I bought that and turned right around and traded all of them away because I didn't care about those pins. I just wanted the other pins. So I had something to trade away, is my point. I went and bought the cheapest pins that I could in the store, and then I turned around and I traded those away to get a pin that I was after. So cast members won't accept duplicate pins. So if you're trying to trade with a cast member or on the boards and that pin is already there, they won't take it because they don't want duplicates. Storing your pins. So you show up, let's just say for a second that you're brand new to pin trading, you go to the parks, or if you're not at the parks and you go to box lunch or you order them online. What are you going to do with your pins now if you start to accumulate a bunch, right? So there's many different bags that Disney sells, large, small, that you can store your pins in safely, like the backpack style ones, which both my wife and I have. Basically zippered compartment, just like a backpack. And inside what you're going to find is pages that are made from like a felt material. Or I've seen people on either make their own, or obviously on different craft sites like Etsy and everything, you can find many, many different choices of custom made ones. I started to make one, I never finished it. And simply what I was going to do is take an old CD case, and then that is a quick makeshift book style protective cover to put your pins in. And then I had bought some embroidered Disney patches that I was going to like hot glue to the front and just jazz it up a little bit. So many different choices to store your pins there. So last one here is if you want to proudly display a pin, which I have a 50th anniversary pin on my backpack that I carry around with me in the parks, you absolutely don't want to lose that. So what you can do is at the stores that sell the pins themselves, they have the backers that are on the pins when you buy them are rubber, and the hole in that rubber does tend to loosen up over time. If you have a pin displayed on like a backpack or something like that that is subject to a lot of movement, that backer will fall off. It just will. And your pin is going to pop out and you're going to lose it and you're never going to see it again, because when someone picks it up off the ground, it's now part of their collection. You're never going to get it back. So what you can do is Disney sells in the stores it looks like it's a piece of brass, I believe, and it has a hex screw in it. So you would take off the rubber backer and you slip this piece of brass tubing over the back of the pin and you tighten down that hex screw. They even give you the hex key or the Allen wrench, whatever you want to call it, in the bag with these brass backers. They give it to you. You don't have to go to the hardware store and buy one. And that will permanently lock down that pin to whatever you've attached it to, so you won't lose it. So just that's the last tip I have. So Lance, do you have any closing thoughts today before we wrap it up?
Yeah, this is like really, really great information. I'll be honest with you, I've never really done the pin trading because I didn't really know that much about it. Even though I had been going to Disney for quite a number of years, I've seen people with the pins, and I've seen pins in the stores, and I've heard about pin trading, but never really gave it a second thought to see about getting into it. I feel like this would be a good hobby, for kids and adults to kind of get together and do as a family. You could start out real small and grow a collection as a family, and even get other family members involved with the pin trading. And I think this is a fantastic thing that you guys can do and look forward to on your upcoming Walt Disney World trips. But yeah, really great information, really good stuff. And, I appreciate Les going over these things with us today. But yeah, that's all I've got. Back to you, Les.
All right, so that's going to be a wrap for today's episode, everybody. If you have any tips or tricks of your own, please put them down in the comment section. We would really love to read up on those and spread the word with our other fellow pin trading fans, so that would be great. We really appreciate you hanging out with us today. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.